Well, hello. This is Dr. Jose M. Arcaya, the man whose website you have now arrived at, and undoubtedly because you're looking for help in some kind of area or another that I work in. Let me say briefly, I'm a psychologist licensed in New York State for the past 30 years, and likewise a lawyer licensed in the state of New York. I do both jobs. And it depends, obviously, on the kind of help you're wanting from me, but don't be hesitant to request those. I should also say that before I go further in that I would like you to contact me, if possible, via email. That way I avoid the phone conversations where I hear names, information, and then I can't remember what was said when or whatever, and people call back, well, I called you 3 months ago about this, my name is Joe, whatever. I get many phone calls. And what I'd like you to do, if you're interested in what you've seen in the website or what you will hear now in this presentation, is to send me an email. Okay, and the way you send me an email, in the same way that you fax me and in the same way that you might send me a letter, is you go to the little tab in the website which says ways to contact me, and there you're going to find my email, arcayajose@gmail.com, my last name, first name at gmail.com. Send me an email with your name, with a subject header about what it is you want to ask me about, or comment. And if you're interested in using me for appeal purposes or for legal purposes, to tell me your name, what is it that you would like, and I'll respond to you. The reason I ask for the emails is that way you are registered with me. And I only use that in quotations. That way I keep a log of what we have said rather than having to rely on my memory or maybe your memory as to what was said, reconstruct something when we can just have a thread of information, and that way I can use it for future purposes as I go forward with whatever you're asking me for. Briefly about the law practice, I do wills, estates, bankruptcies, and I represent people in labor matters as well as grievance work in front of professional licensing committees that are seeking to overturn people's existing livelihoods because of improper action. And so you can contact me about that. It's a little bit specialized, but there will be maybe cases that you might know of someone, or you might be involved in a similar situation. Regarding the psychology end of things, I do psychotherapy, I do couples counseling, I do evaluations for different sorts, other than just merely forensic work and appeal work, but for other kinds of activities that people need an examination to qualify for something, or to establish a position in a case, or in regarding a school setting, or to get accommodations for professional testing because of drawbacks in their mental makeup and disabilities. So I do that. But what I want to concentrate on right now is the appeal work that I do as a psychologist for law enforcement purposes, disqualifications where individuals have been turned down because of psychological reasons. I work mostly in the general Manhattan area, New York City area, but I do work in the larger state and even out of state for expert witness and trying to defeat reasons for why people are being turned down for various professions. It may not always be for law enforcement work. It could be fire department. It could be public transportation and whatever. Well, anyway, what you'll see on my website is the appeal process that the people undergo for the New York City Police Department, which is not to pick on it, but just as an example of police department turndowns. And it has a specific protocol for going forward with an appeal. 3 things have to be done. One, once you get a rejection letter, and only when you get a rejection letter can an appeal begin. Until you get that, if you're put on hold, that's you just have to wait because they're doing background investigation. the ball is in the court of the powers that be, and they will get in touch with you, and you can be on a hold position for more than a year at times while they get the needed data that they supposedly need to make a final determination on you. Once you get a letter, with it will be a release of information form. As you will read in the website, that release of information form has to be notarized by you, filled out, and mailed to me. Mailed or faxed to me. You can just fax it. And the fax number, as I said, is right there on the website and ways to contact me. The second thing you do is you send a letter to the Civil Service Commission indicating your wish to appeal this action. And I have a boilerplate letter right there on the website that you can use. And you can go forward with that, put your name on it, arrange it to your likes, and then send it out to the CSC, the Civil Service Commission. And the third thing you do is you send me an email, as I said before, telling me you're interested in using me, and I will receive that and then answer you, and that I've gotten your release of information form, and I'm in the process of getting your records. You will then sit tight for possibly 2.5 months. People will get very antsy about this. Well, what's going on and whatever. My letter said 30 days, and yours more than 30 days, and we just haven't started yet on the appeal process. Let me clarify. The 30 days is for you to send that letter out to the Civil Service Commission to say you want to start the appeal. It's not an appeal letter. An appeal only begins when I get the records, and that's 60 days after I get the records. Then we have to answer the rejection issue. But before that, I will send you a letter, an email indicating that I've gotten them and I want to sit with you, go over the material. It's just your free consultation as I advertise, and we will see if you have a quote-unquote case. And that means what do you have to say to the 3 or 4 things that will be raised against you, which may be about your background and work, bankruptcies, problems with moving violations, run-ins with the law in different times of your life where you might have gotten summonses or maybe been arrested even though you've been found innocent, ACDs, action contemplation of dismissal, where supposedly the record's been sealed, but the authorities have that is, the law enforcement authorities have the right to open those envelopes up and get that information out and consider that in terms of your qualifications to be a law enforcement officer. And so they'll enumerate these things. And then the other matter that you may not know about, although you may know something about in the past that's gotten you into trouble, is the way you came off during the interview. And that's very important because they will listen to you carefully about what you said at one point in time and what you are telling the interviewer now. So if you wrote something about yourself, if you omitted certain facts, then you add those new facts into the oral examination that you're having, they'll question, well, why wasn't that admitted before? Or if you put in admissions and then you say you put in the oral portion material that isn't there, that wasn't collaborated with in your written work, then again they've got you for perjury or for possibly misleading, even though it may be accidental on your part, even though you don't remember material earlier that you'll remember later, or that you've written things down and you'll supposedly later forget. They will then start asking questions about your character and credibility and how constant are you in what you have to say. So that whole package has to be looked at to see if it's got, if with all of that said, what you have to say in answer to that. And that's what will constitute our initial meeting. If you decide to go forward right now, as of the beginning of this year, at the end of this year, I charge $1,000 to do an appeal. $500 up front, $500 when I'm done. And I don't bring on people lightly. I make sure that there is some sort of a case that you have that we can work with. That's about it, what I have to say. It's just the sound of my voice may be reassuring. I am a real person. If you need to follow up, please try using email. Get back to me that way. I will answer everything that I receive as an email just as promptly as possible. And thanks for listening.